Hello and welcome to my first scripting tutorial. I'm not planning on doing that many of these. I'm only planning on doing this one for the mere fact that I see so many people improperly using a kill brick. Now, kill bricks and kill scripts are probably the most basic thing. I mean, it's pretty basic. You'll learn variables and stuff, but the kill brick is the first thing that you'll make that does something important or useful in general. So right here's my kill brick, and when a player touches this brick, you want them to die. And I have a script inside this kill brick called kill script, and we'll go inside that now. Now the first thing that we're going to want to do is define our kill brick. You should know how to do this. The keyword is, we'll call this variable brick. You can use the keyword script inside any script to define its own script besides module scripts. And the parent is the kill brick inside this. You probably already know this. I'm going to be using anonymous functions apart from regular functions. Regular functions would look like this: local function touched, or a lot of people use on touched, and you'll use the parameters of the part that touched, and you'll call it brick.touched connect to ontouched. And now this is basically the same as saying kill function. This is basically the same as saying, it's connecting it straight to a function. Except it's a little bit smaller, and in a lot of cases a little bit easier to read. So this gives the parameter, the part that touched. This can be named anything. So what do you normally do inside the kill function? Well, a lot of times you'll see they define, or they'll do an if statement. They'll do if part that touched dot parent find first child humanoid. And this tells us that whatever touched the part is inside is a part of a model that has a humanoid inside of it. So every single character has a humanoid inside of it, but there's also NPCs that have humanoids inside them, and a lot of times you don't want those guys to be killed by touching this part. If you do, you would use humanoid. If you don't, you would check to see if the part that touched is a part of a character of a player. So we're going to define player, local player. I'll use PLR for short. That's going to equal game.players. We're going to use the function get player from character. And we're going to give part that touched parent. So player is going to equal what this function returns. This function returns a player if you supply an argument that is a character of a player that's in the game currently. If it's not, it'll return nil, and we can check for that if this. And this is basically the same as saying if player does not equal nil. But this is shorthand and a little bit cleaner. So if we know this is a player, what do we do? Pretty simple. We can set the humanoid's health to 0, but then we have to define humanoid. You have to get the character, which we already have, but it's still a little bit longer to do than using the simple function break joints. Break joints will basically destroy any joints holding a model together, or even apart. So we know the character is part that touched parent, and we can just use break joints. And this is a very, very simple kill function that will work. And this will work for anything inside of another brick. The problem is, what if we have tons of kill bricks? Tons. Maybe hundreds, maybe even 1,000. And we all have them inside of workspace. This is a lot of kill bricks. It's not that many, but there might be more depending on your game. If you're making a huge obby with 500 levels, there might be thousands of kill bricks inside your game. And having thousands of scripts inside your game isn't clean. It's not very clean at all. So what we can do instead of using a brick kill script inside workspace is we can just do it without even using any scripts inside workspace. We're going to call this folder kill brick storage, or you can call it whatever you want. And we have a script that I made inside of server script service called proper kill script. And we're going to define the folder, local folder, workspace, wait for child. I use wait for child just in case it hasn't loaded yet when the script is loaded. Kill, I want to name it kill brick storage. Cool. So what do we do? To get every single thing inside of this, we use GetChildren. GetChildren will return the children, which is everything inside this folder. In this instance, return all those children, which are all parts that we want to be kill bricks. So local children, or we can just call this kill bricks, equals folder get children. Okay, now what do? We have the children. Can we do kill bricks touched? And that is no. We cannot do that because touched isn't an event for tables. This is a table. This returns a table. And tables is an example. A table is this. And tables can have many values, you know, but it doesn't know what we're talking about inside the table. And we can't refer to all of them like this. There will be a link in the description of common mistakes. One of those mistakes being improper use of GetChildren. I highly recommend reviewing that. It's very, very good for beginners. So what we do is we use a generic for loop. Generic for loop will loop through a table of its children, everything inside the table, and you can do things to it in this instance. So to use a generic for loop, a basic for loop you already know equals I equals 1 through 10. This will loop 10 times. Do you know what this does? And you could technically use this. You could use kill bricks, and you could reference with I, and you could do, you know, not touched, and you can do all that, but it's a little bit faster if we do object and pairs kill bricks do. So for underscore object and pairs kill bricks do. What does this do? It gets all of the objects inside of the folder. That variable right here stands for the objects. It could be anything. I call it object or obj for short. This is just the index, which is why you'll often see for I v, which is for index and variable and pairs. But underscore you use in case it's just to make it look cleaner, to make sure that others reading your code know that you're not using this variable. It's good to use this if you're not going to use the index. Okay, so now what do we do? Well, it's pretty simple now. All we have to do is basically copy our code from the kill brick. So object.touched connect to a function. I was going to put part this time, you know it's the part that touched. If game.players, get player from character, part.parent, then part.parent. Oops. Break joints. Break their joints. So satisfying. So, it loops through all the objects. It adds a touched event to them. And if they're touched, it kills whatever touches them, if it's a player. And that's actually about it. If you were to test this now, it would work. Trust me. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll do more of these.